Hey everyone, Steph Smith here again for another practice tip. I am doing this series of videos for my Valsalva maneuver students who have a little bit of a harder time doing some of the extended techniques that are taught for relaxing the Valsalva maneuver, but these are also really great practice tips for just anyone on any brass instrument. So I really hope that you get a lot out of today's tip, which is talking about flutter tonguing. And this is used all the time in music, so this isn't anything new or anything like that, but it is really important to be able to flutter tongue. And I actually mean flutter tongue using the tongue and not the back of the throat. No growling, anything like that. And actually, growling is super counterproductive because growling actually gets you to tighten your throat muscles, and that's not what we want to do ever really on our instrument. So flutter tonguing is a really important skill to learn, and I wanted to make this video to help make it a little bit easier for you. Maybe think of some new concepts that might get you to feeling what it's like to actually flutter tongue. So what we're going to do is we are going to place the back of the tongue. This is how I teach people how to flutter tongue. Place the back of the tongue lower in the mouth. So in order to achieve that, you're going to place the tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, that bumpy part, back right behind your teeth, and then you're going to let the back of the tongue just fall down, slope down like a ski slope. Okay? So that's the first step. Then the next step is to breathe in, and as you are exhaling, you're leaving that tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, on that ridge, and you're going to blow air over the tongue, and it's going to cause a vibration. Okay? And a good way to get the right kind of air, you would need really fast air speed for this. So you're going to say, heh. You're going to start the breath with the H. So that's going to get you the air speed that you need. Every single person can do this unless you have a webbed tongue. If you don't have a webbed tongue, I don't want to hear any excuses. You can flutter tongue. Once you figure it out one time, you'll be able to recreate it. That's the great thing about our bodies. We learn so quickly. We just have to experience it one time in order to recreate it. So those were my tips again. So lowering the back of the tongue, placing the tip of the tongue on the alveolar ridge, and blowing hot, fast air past your tongue so that it vibrates. The back of the tongue has to be super loose. If it's not super loose, then it will be very hard for the vibration to go forward. The tongue has to be super relaxed. The jaw has to be super relaxed. This is really similar to the video that I did just earlier this week with the raspberry tongue hum. That whole thing, it's all connected. It's very similar. So this is just using your tip of your tongue on the alveolar ridge instead of using your lip and the bottom lip to vibrate. And once again, this is a super useful practice tool because you can use flutter tonguing on the instrument now. So in the other video from earlier this week, you weren't putting that on the instrument. And this is a bridge between that exercise and this exercise and putting it on the instrument. So like the last one, if you can think of, this is actually another way to practice without using the instrument too, you could just flutter tongue. So you could go okay? And if you cannot do that, that is what you need to work on because it's telling you a lot about what's happening in the instrument. What's going to happen when you put the horn to your face. What's going to happen is if your vibration stops, that means that you are using too much of your tongue. Your tongue can go raise up in the back of your mouth, or it can recede, or you are using too much throat tension. And so we want to eliminate those things for our practicing. and for our playing to get our best sound and our best performance, right? So now then the next step is to bridge it onto the mouthpiece. So you can go okay? That's the next step. Then you can transfer it onto the horn. I'm not going to do that because I haven't practiced, but it sounds wonderful. So then you put it on the horn and you use the flutter song. Okay, fine, I'll do it. All right, so here's what it would sound like. Ooh, y'all. I didn't think that I wasn't singing the right pitch. I was close, but not perfect. Okay, so this is a really, really cool practice tip, and it's going to get your airstream exactly right. If you're using too little air, then you're likely to the flutter tongue to actually stop. But if you're using too much air, then you'll just run out of breath, and then that'll be a disaster. So this really helps you get that Goldilocks amount of breath for whatever excerpt that you're trying to play. All right, so give it a try. It's really cool. If you would like to hear more content like this, I really suggest liking and subscribing to this channel. And if you didn't see the video from earlier about the raspberry tongue hum, that's a really cool one. So you should go back and listen to that. And I just look crazy, so that's fun. And also, if you have any issues with articulation, you can also check out my website. I have a lot of resources on there, and it's www.beatvm.com. It's also linked below. So have a great time practicing. I want to hear your thoughts about this. Is this crazy? Is this out there? I don't think so, but I think it's fun. So see you next time.